Hi, this is Di, the bass playing mom. Last video, I ripped my pedals apart, started from scratch, and re-hooked everything up on my board. You can see that video. It's linked right up here, and it'll be at the end. Make sure you check that out to see what we ripped out and how it all turned out. It played flawlessly on Sunday, I have to say. And so now, this week, we're going to answer your questions. Well, you ask questions. I'll see if I have answers. I might ask you for your answers. From Kate Ruckus. She asks, what is your go-to chocolate? My go-to chocolate right now, dark chocolate chips from the bulk section of the grocery store. I can eat 100 or I can eat 10. It's up to me. I don't have to break it apart like a chocolate bar. It's a problem. From LibraMaster84, have you considered the Boss EQ200? I use it on my cheap bass, but once I turn that bad boy on, it upgrades the sound. I highly recommend it. What do you think? Do you have it? I've never heard the EQ200, but it's a Boss pedal. You can't really go wrong. They're workhorses. I think I need to check this pedal out. Do you have one? Let me know down below. What do you think of it? Oh, and I will have a link down in the description so you can buy it on Amazon or go to your local music retailer. This is from James Bates 9038. I love my N2 for guitar, but I've never used the loop function. I think he's talking about the return. I swear by the return. It really works great. I think you need to rewire your board so you can do that. You're going to need one kind of long cable to go from your last out around back into it, but I think you'll be happy with it. You should try it. From Dean Mentjes 7774. Good stuff. I own probably 30 pedals I've collected in my 30 plus years of gigging, and I have 3 pedal boards I've cycled through. I'm on my second pedal board. These days I use the smallest pedal board with only 3 pedals. Polytune tuner pedal, Sadowski preamp, and a Keeley Compressor Pro. I don't have a preamp, so I have thought about that. I wonder if that's something that I would enjoy and find it would amp up my little bass. From Robert Borsch, 5868. My board is homemade. Start with the TU3 tuner, into bass preacher compressor, into MXR DI Plus. We'll probably add an octave 5 pedal and a chorus to round out my rig. I have an MXRR DC brick to power it, have input and output jacks built in, did a lot of research into proper signal chain to get there. Yes, I was fortunate that one of my viewers mapped out my signal chain for me early on, and so that's been really helpful. I've thought a lot about a chorus. I have an octave, but I don't have a chorus, so I'm still thinking about that. What do you think? Do I need to add a chorus? From Zach Shannon 1. Very glad to see you didn't use the solid links. They're a good way to spend money to break your pedals over time. And he thinks my overdrive seems to be cutting out the low ends. I think that might be because we were just using the microphone on my camera. I think the low end just wasn't getting recorded. But I'm going to check that to make sure that I like it the way it sounds. And I did not use the solid links. I sent them back. I got my money back. I'm glad we got that all figured out before I ruined anything. From Gene Gleckner 2732. I had a problem similar to this. Pedals are sensitive to ground problems. For me, it was a loose jack on my bass. I brought my pedals back where I bought them only to find out it was my bass the whole time. That's why we started with the bass. That was my first culprit, I thought. And in fact, at the gig, I just kept, wiggling the cord and trying different things. And I thought that was affecting it, but I think it was still the board going out. And so that's why I made sure that everything was good with the bass before I started in on the pedals. I've been there before. I've fixed it on a tour bus once. Well, a school bus. From J. Jada, Spryest Power. Great video. Out of curiosity, the riff you played while testing the overdrive at 8:46, is that by chance Volbeat for a Vict? I I wish it was. It was just me noodling. Just like the first, the fourth, and the fifth. It wasn't anything, but I was playing that for sure. From Abby NA01, I want to try some pedals soon, maybe 3 or so. I'm thinking fuzz, overdrive, and tuner. Tuner is definitely the place to start for sure, because once your tuner's on a board and you have a steady power supply, you're not dealing with 9 volts, you're not worrying about knocking into it on the floor. I definitely recommend a tuner on a board. If you're there doing that anyway, the fuzz and the overdrive would be awesome to have as a combination. I like the compression sustain, so you might want to think about that. What's your go-to pedal? Let me know down below. From Kaylee Demos. This has inspired me to look into more pedals and building a pedal board. I'm a lady who plays bass at church too, and we actually have the same bass. So far, I've only played with the church's Alpha Omega Ultra. What's an Alpha Omega Ultra? I mean, the name sounds really churchy. Alpha Omega is beginning and the end. I think it's a preamp. Oh, okay. It's by Dark Glass. I see it on Sweetwater. And you can always check your local music retailer. Nice. We've been talking about preamps and are they a good idea? So this one's actually probably a good idea. Kaylee, I would think about a tuner and maybe compression sustain, especially if you're playing the same bass as me. Having it sustain is really helpful because otherwise I find the notes drop off. And so if I'm playing diamonds, you know, when you've got just a whole note for an entire measure, for 6/8 or in 4/4, I feel like the notes drop off. But with the sustain, they stay high, like bass keys. Patrick Howe 7689 says signal chain, Peterson Strobe Stomp HD. Then it goes to the EHX Bass Big Muff. I have that one. Then to the EQD Blumes. Then to the EHX Bass Clone. I have a clone. Then to the Aguilar Tone Hammer. Then to the amp or the front of house. Pedals powered by True Tone One Spot Pro CS7. That sounds amazing to me. The only thing I'd be worried about is I don't see a tuner. And I think a tuner to use as a mute is a must-have. So that is the only thing I would see adding to that. That sounds great. What do you guys think? Oh, and then he explained to me what the Blumes pedal does, because I hadn't heard of it. The bass version, Blumes is the bass version of Plumes. Basically a really nice version of a tube screamer, says Zach Shannon. Basically an overdrive based on the tube screamer circuit tweaked for bass. I find the 3 clipping modes make it very versatile overdrive pedal. So it'd be an improvement to the overdrive pedal I'm using if I need to replace it after I listen to it again. Oh my gosh, it's a good looking pedal. Yeah, that's a little bit shallow, but I do love a good looking pedal. It comes in all different colors. From Book BZ8NS, I'm just bass and amp. I really don't want to deal with a pedal board, but I'll probably have to at some point. My son, when he was playing electric guitar, and he was just getting started with pedals, he just took a piece of wood that I had from a project somebody gave me, and he mounted his pedals right to that piece of wood. So you might think about something small like that that can keep your tuner and maybe your compression sustainer organized, even if you don't want any effects. And if you want to get your own DI. I just love having my own DI. My life is so much simpler since I did that. I'm never without a DI. So those of you who haven't thought about pedals, you might think about a DI. And then we have M. Bouchard 2927 who says, same here, just bass and amp, try and keep it simple. And Joe Ellie 618, me too, other than an instant mute, I'm not messing with it yet. I just mute by turning down the volume knobs on my J-Bass. Great video though, Di, helpful details. I still swear by a tuner as your mute because you know you're muted during the sermon that way. I don't find myself with the knobs being reliable. I mean, I'm reliable at the start of the song to think I'm playing and I have it sound turned off, but not that. I mean, to be able to look down and see the signal going into the tuner, I know that I'm interrupting any sound coming out of my bass during the sermon. And I like knowing that I'm in tune. The nice thing about a Polytune is you can just strum it and it will show you the reading for all of your strings. So you don't have to pluck them one at a time to tune up. I suggest that tuner, man. And it's fast, because like I was playing a song in drop D and I can tune right back to E really quick, faster than when I had my Boss tuner. And though some people swear by them, they don't like newfangled ones, I think that just means you have a setting wrong on it. You should adjust the settings until you get it exactly the way you want it. Make sure you watch the video where I redid my pedal board.